As our tale starts, the young devil dog finds himself on an island he is unfamiliar with.
Where am I?
Looking around, he sees that everybody except himself have been turned to stone.
Oh my god, everybody's been turned to stone!
Though young devil dog may not know it yet, he is the chosen one. He will rise up and fight against the monsters on the land and save everyone.
Really, me?
Yep, you're the one.
But I don't even have a weapon! You gotta be just gods, you gotta give me a weapon then.
At this part of the story, young devil dog finds the mighty axe of Damocles to strike down his enemies.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'll be able to kill a bunch of monsters with this thing.
You know he can't wield that.
Wait, what?
At this point of our adventure, Devil Dog is way too weak to handle the axe of Damocles. Therefore, he finds a more suitable weapon fitting of his strengths. The axe will repute.
Oh, what? You're kidding me. I can't kill no monsters with this. It's so puny. It's got bite marks on it. I don't even think it's sharp. It's not even sharp. What?
At this point in the story, Devil Dog shows his true colors as our savior and runs from the monsters like a little bitch.
I think I got away from the giant monsters. There's giant monsters everywhere on this island. It makes this...
As our story concludes, the monsters find Devil Dog and crush him. Well, I actually kind of like my story better. Well, it doesn't matter, because I am the narrator. Well, I'm here too. He was supposed to be the savior. Well, now he's just a monster poop.
Double tap root beer will double the damage fun. Oh yeah, get thirsty.
Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. Before I get started, make sure to hit the bell icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos on my channel. Make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, and of course, leave lots of comments. I love to answer each and every one of yours. This is my review for Immortals Fenyx Rising. It was developed by Ubisoft Quebec and published by Ubisoft, and just released on December 3rd of 2020 on just about everything. I mean, seriously, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, PC. I think Nintendo Switch even has a version of this game. It's virtually been released on every system. It's basically a third-person open-world action game. I'm gonna cut to the chase, people. It's the bastard child of Breath of the Wild, combined with aesthetics of God of War and a light, simplified version of Devil May Cry fighting mechanics. Now, that is a loose interpretation of what this game is. Naturally, the fighting mechanics aren't nowhere near as massively deep as like a Devil May Cry, but when you start juggling enemies and stuff like that, you'll see what I mean. It's like implementing, some light aspects of a Devil May Cry fighting system in a giant open Breath of the Wild Zelda style game set in a really beautiful Greek mythology style of setting. Now, at the start of the game, you get to customize your character's gender, your voice, and your looks, but I do think this aspect needs to have more variation to it. You can make a decent character, but I would have liked a little bit more options, but, that's just a personal nitpick. It's still perfectly capable of creating a pretty cool character, and then you go and play the game. Now, as for the overall game world, it is absolutely massive, and it appears to be open right from the start. It seems like you can go just about anywhere you choose, and it consists of 7 different areas or biomes that are all drastically different in overall just about everything. And naturally, to traverse this area, these giant areas, it's Breath of the Wild, so you're going to be using different mounts. You're going to be being able to climb anything you want as long as you have your stamina, and gliding. Like I said, it plays just like Breath of the Wild. I know I keep saying that, but it honestly really does. It even kind of looks like it. It naturally also has lots of puzzles that also use physics to be able to complete them. And in the open world, there's also these things known as frescoes, which are basically tile puzzles that you slide around and stuff, which I kind of like those. I thought they were a nice addition to this game. But what about dungeons, right? If it's Breath of the Wild, what about dungeons? Don't worry, this game has dungeons, but they're called vaults of Tartarus in this. And a lot of times when you go into these quote dungeons, they consist of all kinds of weird stuff, including platforming segments, which I really kind of didn't like. It doesn't really play well as a platformer, really it doesn't, but you can still get through it. But it has platforming segments, physics-based puzzles like in the outside world that require you and your little buddy to actually work together in order to solve these puzzles, which I absolutely love the physics-based puzzles in this game. They're very well done. And of course the other thing I call combat challenges, where you come across enemies and you'll just have to beat them. Sometimes it seems like you'll just go into some of these quote vaults of Tartarus and the whole thing will be just like almost like a gauntlet, an enemy gauntlet, which I'm never really a fan of when they do that. I think that that's kind of a cheap way of getting out and making content. But with the sheer amount of stuff you get to do in this, I can't really complain on that. I mean, I guess it mixes it up, but I would rather just have it the way it would normally be with light platforming. With the physics puzzles and enemies that you fight, instead of mixing it up like that. Now, as for overall fighting mechanics in this game, you have two different main attacks and your bow and arrow. You have a light attack and a heavy attack, and light attacks are these quick sword strikes, but they can be kind of weak. They're super quick, but they're not that punchy. They don't do a lot of damage. And an axe, which is really strong but very, very slow, so you have to really make sure to plan things out. And you basically have to mix it up between these, along with also using your bow and arrow to fight these enemies, and also use them to solve puzzles and other things as well. But like I said, you have to be very careful because it all uses your stamina when you do this. So you can't really button mash in this game. If you do, you'll wear your character out so fast that you'll get exhausted and you're not going to be worth crap. You'll pretty much get your butt handed to you. Now, as you progress through this game, naturally, since it is a game that you actually upgrade your character, you'll be able to upgrade your different gear and weapons by getting different items that you can help craft to improve your gear and your weapons. And you also can unlock these super moves, almost like ultimate god attacks, as you progress through. And they're really, honestly, one of the highlights of the game besides the other point I'm about to get to. Now, the other highlight about this, which shocked me and I wasn't expecting, I thought this was going to be a very serious tone game. And there are parts that kind of are, but for the most part, this is a really funny game. It's a very oddly funny, tongue-in-cheek style game with tons of humor in the game, great voice acting, a lot of fourth wall breaks, especially with the narrators. I mean, it's a very wacky, enjoyable story. And it's not your normal Ubisoft game. I was shocked this was a Ubisoft game at first. But then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, Ubisoft, what is the actual catch on this? And here it is. Much like every Ubisoft game, it's a massive open world, which apparently they don't know how to make linear-based games. All they know how to do is make these giant, massive games. But I'm okay with that, especially with the visual aesthetics, the way the game plays. It's a really good, fun game that's very enjoyable. But then I notice it's got microtransactions in it. Now, here's the thing. I am so sick and tired nowadays of people complaining about how they don't have a problem with the price increases on next gen game systems and their games. Oh well, it costs so much more money to make a game anymore that they have to raise the price or use microtransactions to compensate for the total cost of making the game. That's bullcrap, people. If you believe that, you're obviously got your head sewn under the rug, because that's not true at all. These game companies are making billions of dollars off these games. When you pay full price for a game, there should be no microtransactions in it. I personally feel like that's double dipping. And when they're actually making huge profits on these games to where they're able to give the CEOs $40 million in bonuses each damn time, that should tell you, no, it may cost more to create a game, but if you make a good game and it sells more, you make more money. And that's how the system works. There's no reason why these next gen games should cost $70, and there's no reason why any of these games should have microtransactions in them. The only way you should have microtransactions in a game is if it's a free to play game, as long as the microtransactions are done in a reasonable fashion that don't have anything that is pay to win. Fortunately, in this game, I can say the microtransactions appear to be strictly cosmetic only. They're like new mounts and outfits and stuff like that. But since it's a single player adventure and it's not online or multiplayer, I mean, I guess it's okay. I still hate them. I don't buy this crap. They need to have microtransactions in games. I really don't. You know, when you're making billions of dollars, like, oh, but Nathan, it cost $80 million to make a game. Yeah, but then they spend $135 million on marketing. No offense, but you're spending more on marketing than you are for making the game. That right there tells you something, people. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get on a little rant, but I just had to. That just bothers me. But back to this game, which I actually do like. It's just I don't like Ubisoft at all. But I'll have to admit, they crafted a very enjoyable, fun game set in a really neat Greek mythology style Breath of the Wild game world. And give or take, it'll take you 20 to 30 hours or so to get through this title. I mean, honestly, I really do like this game. And it even has kind of a weird backstory over the fact of the name change. Immortals Fenyx Rising wasn't the original name for this. Apparently, the original name was Gods and Monsters. And due to the fact of some of their previous games, I think it was Rainbow Six, not selling that well, they decided to put this one back in the oven to tweak it and add more content to it and everything. And when they did that, they also decided to change the name. Also, because this is true, look it up, apparently the Monster Energy Drink Company, they didn't want to be confused thinking that this had a tie-in with Monster Energy drinks. So that's another reason why they changed their name. And that is just ridiculous, people. That's stupid. But honestly, my final thoughts on Immortals Fenyx Rising is it's a very entertaining game. It plays great, and despite my hatred for Ubisoft, I have to say this is actually a pretty good third-person open-world action game with a really good story in it. I love the humor. I love the graphics. I love the overall gameplay. I love the physics-based puzzles. I love the fighting mechanics, the art style. The ending's a little on the side, but you know, in the end, honestly, I can actually recommend that you go and pick up and play Immortals Fenyx Rising. It was actually worth the time I had spent with it, worth the money I've spent with it. And the fact of the matter is, I will not pay $70 for a next-gen game. That's bullcrap. They shouldn't cost that much. I'm going to have a rant about that. I think in the next day or two, I'm going to have a rant about the price point. But in the end, definitely, if you're a huge fan of Breath of the Wild, go ahead and pick up Immortals Fenyx Rising today. Play it on whatever system you choose. In the end, I'm pretty sure as long as if you like Zelda Breath of the Wild, you will have a fun, frantic, great time with this adventure. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Once again, please hit the like icon, smash that subscribe button, and leave a comment below. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.